All right, let's watch videos. 9 places you should never swim, never ever.
9 places you should never put your hands or feet in.
Okay.
Do you consider yourself a skilled swimmer? Have you bravely tested the waters of several oceans and seas? If so, that's great. But no matter how well you can swim or dive, there are places you should definitely steer clear of.
Hold on, I just want to go back before we get too far away from it. This is really funny, the PowerPoint transition of, that's great.
Of several oceans and seas? If so, that's great.
It's lowercase, it's off-centered.
Some have treacherous underwater rocks, flows, and tides, while others have gained notoriety for the legends of monsters and mysterious creatures dwelling in their depths.
The one time I went on a cruise, we stopped at this like random, I think it was Bermuda. We stopped at a part of Bermuda, and I did like, you know, a classic reef snorkeling trip and all that stuff. But I also swam in the water at this like bar with my cousin. And, you know, I don't like to just wade in the water constantly and just keep my, you know, keep myself up. So I like let myself sink a little bit so that my foot would rest on the bottom where we were swimming. And it just rested very softly on a rock. Like it was like I did not put my foot down, I did not move my foot very much, and the rock just sliced my foot open. Like it was the sharpest rock. It had to have been the sharpest rock or coral or whatever in existence. And I just had like this bloody bleeding foot and had to like get back onto the thing, and we had to board back onto the cruise, and I didn't have like medical anything. So I had to like walk back onto the cruise in my flip-flops covered in like blood and shit. So yeah, rocks get pretty sharp.
In this video, you'll learn all about the most dangerous and terrifying bodies of water you should never.
Yeah, it was saltwater. It's Bermuda. Yeah, I don't know what it is about saltwater rocks, because I've spent a lot of time in freshwater and I've never been cut by anything except a rose bush. All my time walking through freshwater and, you know, catching fish and stuff like that. But my like one time in the ocean, and I happened to put my foot down on the world's sharpest rock.
9. The Strid. The river wharf in Yorkshire, England has
Actually
an extremely
based.
narrow part called the Strid,
Actually
which is a
based.
local variation of Stride.
There's a Tom
The
Scott
wharf
video on
itself
this.
has an extremely strong current, and due to the narrowness of the Strid, that current gets even stronger in this area. That same powerful current has also weakened the banks of the Strid and undercut them from below. Over the years, nobody who's gotten into the river has ever made it out alive. And you wouldn't know the threat just by looking at this.
Yeah, I don't feel like this guy is doing this thing due justice. It's literally just like a super deep, super fast underground river with like a tiny 1 foot wide opening at the surface.
8. Horseshoe Lake. There's a lake in California that you could easily call a weekend paradise. The earthquakes of 1989 and 1990 are to blame. They cleared the way for carbon dioxide to break out from underneath hot magma and come spewing out into the air, killing the surrounding trees and every living thing in the vicinity.
I've seen something like this, but I think even more scary than this. There was like a leak in a lake. I think it was in Africa, in southern Africa somewhere, where like carbon dioxide would spew out from under the lake, and it just killed like entire local villages, and you don't even know that it's happening because it's invisible.
Nowadays, Horseshoe Lake is still just as deadly as it was 30 years ago.
I don't know, man. Those trees look pretty alive. Those trees look totally fine.
7. Kipoo Falls. In Kawaii, Hawaii, there's a group of beautiful waterfalls that, until recently, was this destination's tourist hotspot. And why was this area fenced off from tourists? Well, it's also been a hotspot for tons of injuries and deaths. Obviously, some people were hurt while jumping from the top of the waterfall, but many deaths weren't so easy, if at all possible, to explain. Witnesses recount some swimmers peacefully bathing in the pool at the bottom of the falls that simply drowned without any obvious reason. They just all of a sudden disappeared under the surface, never to be seen again. Their bodies were later retrieved.
This is now a cryptid thing. What? There's a lake at the bottom of a falls in Hawaii that just causes people to just suddenly, instantly die. What? Could it be a ghost? Probably something stuck to their foot. I don't know. Definitely a shark. Seagrass. Who knows, man? But I guess you should never swim there.
The locals believe that the water spirit Mo'o drags people down because it doesn't like to be disturbed by noisy tourists.
Oh.
Others think
Ah, yes, the water spirit Mo'o, the giant fucking kraken at the bottom of the waterfall. Nice.
6. The Semezin Hole. Named after a nearby fishing village, the Semezin Hole is a sight to behold. A whopping 280-foot drop, it's the deepest diving site in the whole Gulf of Thailand. It's become a watery grave for countless divers, and here's why. First of all, it's situated in a high traffic zone of huge oil tankers. Secondly, there are extremely strong currents around this place.
Wait, it's in a high traffic zone of oil tankers? It's a hole. It's surrounded. The tankers can't get in there. What? Okay, I don't understand how the first one is dangerous.
Plus, brave divers who decide to conquer the Semezin Hole have to deal with deadly barracuda.
Ah, yes, deadly barracuda. So you've got a hole that is completely isolated, yet somehow is affected by large tankers. And of course, there's deadly barracuda. Strong currents is the only actually scary thing.
As you start your descent, your visibility becomes very poor. That, in turn, only increases your chances of not seeing one of these aggressive sea predators coming right your way at the nearly pitch-black depths. And that's not all. The U.S. Navy used to dump ammo in the Semezin Hole, and the site is literally covered with unexploded bombs.
Okay,
Yeah.
That's a slightly more scary reason than barracuda. If I'm diving into a watery hole and I list my fears, I'm putting barracuda like here and unexploded minefield like here.
5. New Smyrna Beach. In Volusia County, Florida, you'll find New Smyrna Beach. When you see it in pictures, you can't imagine a better beach getaway. You'd be better off staying on the beach though, unless you
hate
like
this text
swimming
thing.
with sharks. There's so many of them near New Smyrna Beach that according to the Shark Attack file, this place is the shark attack capital of the world. Scientists say that if you decide to swim there, you'll
What is sticking out of these clip art? I know this isn't relevant at all, but what is sticking out of these clip art shark's tail?
definitely come within 10
it a
feet of at
thorn?
least one shark. Kawaii Beach. Kauai makes this deadly list again for its beach located on Nepali coast. Kawaii Beach looks deceptively like a paradise on Earth. To reach it, you need to walk along a rocky
You already
2-mile
showed
trail
this.
that
You already showed this image.
happens to be
Why don't they just go this way? It would be faster. I'm not a cartographer, but it seems to me like you could get to the treasure faster by going around the right side of the island.
extremely steep. The biggest danger that would most likely lead to your untimely demise is rip currents.
No
They're
way.
so powerful that even the most experienced swimmer in the world wouldn't be able to get out of their deadly embrace. Visitors of Kawaii Beach are sternly recommended to stay out of the water.
They have a tally? Damn, that's metal. Unseen currents have killed. That's got to be like, what, 60 people? More than that, even. That's metal.
For this purpose,
If I saw that, there's no fucking shot I'm going in the water.
there's also a somber sign standing on the beach.
You can get out of rip currents, though, just swim perpendicular? If there's 6 miles of rip currents, yeah, okay. I think you might have a small issue there. Yes, if you're talking about a small rip current on a local beach, yeah, you can swim out of it. I don't know about the 6 miles covering this beach, though.
3. Berkeley Pit. This body of water on our list is one of the few that doesn't trick you with deceptive beauty. Berkeley Pit, an artificial lake in Butte, Montana, literally looks like a lake of blood. Forget about swimming. You can't even touch the surface of the water with your hand or foot. This reservoir used to be an open-pit copper mine, so nowadays heavy metals like cadmium, arsenic, zinc, lead,
Ooh,
and
fun.
copper leak from the rocks surrounding the lake.
Cadmium
making
and
the waters
arsenic.
highly
I love putting cadmium and arsenic in my water to spice it up.
and all 342 birds were dead. Their internal organs had severe burn marks from the water.
Yeah, that's what happens when you drink spicy water.
2. Exploding lakes.
Okay.
There are 3 exploding lakes known to people so far. Lake Manoon and Lake Nyos in Cameroon, and Lake Kivu in Rwanda. These lakes
All in
appear over
Africa?
pools of magma separated by a dam of volcanic rock. From time to time, magma releases methane and carbon dioxide right into the water. When it happens, these toxic gases suddenly burst out of the water, sometimes even causing lake tsunamis. In something called a limnic eruption, poisonous gases get
I think this is
free
the one I
from
was
a
talking about
toxic
earlier.
cloud that kills nearby animals, plants, and people.
Yeah, that's the one I was talking about, where things, you know, carbon dioxide and methane and stuff leaking from below killed a lot of people.
1. Pastore Lake. This lake in western Siberia can boast crystal clear fresh water, beautiful forests on its shores, and absolutely no life in or around it. There are no fish in the lake, birds don't fly over it. Animals steer clear of this picturesque location and don't even come to drink.
I'm sure there's a more sinister reason, but I've like seen this. I don't know what it is. I go to a lot of like local streams and stuff like that to try and search for fish, and sometimes I just find a stream and it looks like perfect. It looks like it should be filled with fish, like it should be like an amazing thing, and I find literally nothing alive, like no macroinvertebrates, no fish, and it doesn't even look like the water quality's bad. The stream itself looks healthy. Sometimes it just gets me. One of these days I'm gonna stumble into a deadly stream.
And while Pastore Lake looks like an absolutely normal water reservoir, and scientists have found nothing foul whatsoever, don't try your luck taking a swim in it. Do you know any other places where you should
Interesting.
never...
I don't know anything about that lake, but that's interesting. I assume if they released fish in there, you could do an analysis. It's pretty easy to do an autopsy on fish. If you like released a carp in there and then it died, you could, you know, do an autopsy on the carp and probably see exactly why it died. Mildly interesting though.